A friend of mine yesterday asked me on X about my perpetual money stacking, and because they wanted to know what the correlation was between my wheel strategy and dividends. Because they said, I'm buying PLTY, Palantir, the Yield Max fund, and I have no money into it whatsoever. So, well, how is that so? And I said, well, one, I use margin, right? It's not my money; it's someone else's money. Some schmuck in a savings account gave me their money to use. Okay, I'm going to pay a little bit of interest on it, but remember, the interest I pay is a tax deduction against my income, anyways, right? And Platy, you're going to get, it's like 70% return of capital, 30% is going to be taxable income. Okay, so what I'm doing is I basically have cash secured puts and covered calls, and I'm literally just recycling the same amount of money. So say it's 20 grand, right? Because I was looking at my account this morning. I have about 22,000 in cash secured puts. Okay, and then I have another, I don't know, maybe another 7-8 grand in covered calls. Not a huge deal of money, but it produces a pretty good income. A chunk of that profit that I take, okay, I'm just taking it and buying stuff like Palantir or Roundhill, Curve, Omaha, T-Spy. I'm literally just taking a section of that and I'm buying these dividend paying funds. So I actually have none of my own money in there, right? Remember, I'm borrowing the money that I'm using to trade options on, and I pay a small monthly fee. So assume it's, on that, it's probably $200 a month. It's about $200 a month that I pay on those options. Now, when and it varies, right? So when you do a cash secured put or a covered call, you collect that premium. So say I have 30 grand, right, in marginable debt, right? Again, which the interest on that, the money I'm paying back, is a tax deduction. So that's like a cherry on top. Assume I have 30 grand in debt and I'm running options on this. I'm collecting premiums because I don't do calls. I'm not paying for the options. I'm putting up some capital and I'm collecting premiums. The premiums I collect actually reduce that margin. So say I get $1,000 for doing a cash secured put. Okay, my actual margin balance will be like 29,000, right? So now the percentage of money paid on debt actually decreases as well. Okay, and I'm gonna go buy, say, Platy or XDTE, right? XDTE is like a 30% margin maintenance. XPay, I believe, is 50%. I think Platy is like 50%. So say I get $1,000. Okay. Now I get $1,000 in my account. That's actually $2,000, right? If I was to go buy PLTY or XPay or Maggie, because it's 50% margin maintenance, I get 2x the leverage buying power. So say I go buy Platy. It's gonna start paying me monthly dividends. Those monthly dividends pay off the basically they take care of the interest paid on the margin, basically. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to capture enough money in, this works great if you guys do leaps too. It actually works better. I'm trying to capture enough in premiums collected, right, to then go buy a high dividend paying stock, which will then pay the actual margin interest charged to me. So essentially I took something and I took nothing, right, because it wasn't my own money to begin with. I put it into circulation, I reaped all the benefits, and then I used the benefits to pay to complete the circle, to pay the cost of making the circle, right? So essentially I have no money into this. I still get the tax deduction, and the asset that I bought is essentially paying for itself. That's perpetual motion. So someone asked me how I was doing that. That's basically how I'm doing that. And then when either the cash secured put or the covered call expires, depending on which side you're on, I always buy correctly. I will not buy wrong, right? You always need to buy correctly. You always need to start correctly. If you don't, this doesn't work. I always buy correctly, and then I just recycle the same amount of money each month, right? So say we start off with 30 grand, right? Like our demonstration before. We're literally just moving that 30 grand, say from July into August, from August to September, October, November. The 30 grand doesn't change. We're literally just recycling that same money. Okay. I'm not adding more money to it. I'm literally just taking that 30 grand in an entire block, just going, all right, option expire. I don't care the direction because I bought it correctly to begin with. Option expire. Okay. In the meantime, I am like quantum leaping forward because I'm collecting premiums and stacks every month. 1,000. Okay. It's not only paying off that margin balance, but I'm also then buying income producing assets that are just going to continually paying me. If you do XCTE, it pays every week. If you buy Maggie, it pays every week. XPay, PLTY, they pay monthly. T-Spy pays monthly. Omaha pays monthly. You guys can literally just do this, buy your favorite dividend paying stocks, and those will continue to grow just like it'll just be a massive gap up. Okay. In the meantime, you're still using the same 30 grand that you borrowed. You're never, how do I explain this? You never actually like cash the money out. You're just recycling the same money. So eventually after like a year and a half, you've basically collected, you could have collected, 100%. If you're earning 10% a year, that's 10% a month, that's 36 grand. Like you'd be like up by like 120%. Plus you're getting dividends, right? Because you use that premium to buy dividend paying assets. So that is taking off to the moon. That's basically what I'm doing, right? Because eventually it's just going to pay for itself. That is the entire idea. So if you're going to borrow money, do it intelligently, do it smart. Guys, the matrix is real. And the matrix just comes down to a series of zeros and ones. Now, if you want to change the output of the matrix, anyone can do it. You just have to change the input. So you change the zeros and ones. Everything around you is a 0 and 1. This phone that I'm recording this on it's just made up of zeros and ones, right? So all I have to do is just change the order flow of the zeros and ones, and you change the output of whatever it is you're trying to do in your life. That's all it is. Once you understand that basic fundamental concept, like if you don't change it, that's fine, but you're going to be watching this again in 10 years, kicking yourself in the head going, maybe I should have taken some fucking action. Okay. That's it. So take action, change the input, and you will change the output. Okay. That's what I'm doing. So, happy 4th, by the way. Today's the 3rd. So happy 4th. I get to get back to work. So, because I'm changing my zeros and ones, so I don't have to do this anymore.